Hey friends, we're back with the next installment in my nonfiction book writing series, and today we're talking all about finding your sources. Hi, I'm Madeline Feierstein, trained historian and criminologist. I study prisons, hospitals, and America during wartime, and I am writing my second book. My first book was about the Union occupation of my town, Alexandria, Virginia, during the Civil War, and that's coming out on October 27th. It's being published by Arcadia Publishing. Now, my second book is a biography on a Civil War surgeon, Dr. Edwin Bentley. Now, Dr. Bentley was active in Alexandria. I talk about him in my first book, but this guy's life is so crazy, you guys. He needs his own book, and so here we go. Now, I have the playlist linked below. I talked about in other videos how I selected my topic, how I organized my Notion page, kind of looking at the kind of preliminary table of contents. And my timeline is, it's currently June 2026. I would love to have the proposal, introduction, and first chapter done by March 2027. So we got about, a couple seasons worth, about 8 to 9 months of work to do. The main reason is, in March and April next year, I have a lot of life events happening. I'm getting married, I'm going on my honeymoon, and then I am moving. So I want to get this proposal done and sent to publishers so that I don't have to worry about it, right? And to be honest, that's very doable for my timeline and for my life right now. I run my own business, rooted in Place LLC, so I do historical and educational consulting. I have more links to all that down below. So I'm self-employed and I can kind of construct my own schedule. Honestly, starting in August, the book will become like my main project. I got a couple of different lectures and presentations. I'm going to a couple of conferences this summer. I'm doing some travel for my business. But after that, really at the start of the academic school year, you could say, it's going to be like my full attention. But what I want to do is prepare for some research trips I have coming up. I'm going to go to Connecticut and Arkansas in order to research more about Dr. Bentley's life. And so I just want to take you on a journey with me to kind of find some sources. Now, these are both primary and potentially secondary sources. There's not much written about Dr. Bentley because he's not a very well-known figure. I want him to be more of a well-known figure, which is why I'm writing the biography. But we're not actually looking at the sources today. We're not analyzing them at all. We're just finding them. And there's different categories. I'm looking at historical societies, the National Archives, newspapers. So I just want to show you guys kind of like how I find sources for my nonfiction works. And this can apply not just to books, right? Articles or lectures you're writing for, just any general research you're doing. A lot of the work I'm doing is genealogical in nature, as well as with military records. So there's some things kind of unique to this biography that you may not have to deal with. Because I'm, of course, tracing this guy's life story. I need to know more about his family, his origins, his, descendants, etc. But I'm also dealing with his military service. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, so first what we're doing is we are looking at the state of Connecticut because Dr. Bentley is from Connecticut and he's from specifically the town of New London. Now, I went just right on to New London's Historical Society. It's where they have all their archives. And the thing is, as you can see, this kind of website, it doesn't actually show you the records themselves. You can't click on them, you can't view them. I did send them an email, so I am waiting on that. I will be giving them a call if I don't hear back soon, because I do want to know if they have something on the Bentley family. If you guys read a biography, you know that the first chapter is about, the early life, right? Or it talks about some of the family's origins. Like, I know his father was a physician himself, so it's kind of a family trade. I think his father had fought in the War of 1812, so, that's just some bits of information. Now, it's not required that I get super into the Bentley family, but I of course want to know more about his siblings. In order to do a lot of that genealogical research, I am utilizing my genealogical skills. I have a subscription to Ancestry.com. I do offer genealogical research services, so this is something I am more trained in. But there's just some things that, of course, Ancestry, MyHeritage, those kinds of websites don't have because they're sitting in the local historical society's undigitized archive. But here is what we can gather from this website, because even though it doesn't give us the names of the records themselves, we do know what is here, right? We do know that there are wills, and wills might be very important because if his father, when he had died, left Edwin something, it would be in that will. So I've not been able to find this man's will online. Property transactions to find out more about maybe where he lived, things like that. I haven't really determined if anyone in the family was a member of society, if they were part of the government or any other type of like committee. That can probably come out in some of this research too. But I do know, hey, if I can't find those like legal documents, this probably will. All right, now what we're gonna do is move to another part of Connecticut, Hartford. Hartford is the capital, and that is where the state archives are located. So what's nice about local history is, of course, they have a lot of stuff relevant to a smaller town, or just something more specific to the vital records of that town. If the local historical society does not have it, I guarantee you the state archives are gonna have it, okay? Now again, with this, we can't click on the records themselves. I can't view digitized documents, but it is gonna tell me down here, look, all this stuff from the town of New London. So check this out. We got, of course, some 18th century stuff. Now this is only relevant if like a member of the Bentley family was involved in a lot of stuff like that. And from what I've seen in my preliminary searches for the Bentley family, they have been in the Connecticut, New London area for like well over 100 years before Edwin was born in 1824. Like they are 1600s founder type folk. So if there's a mention of them, it's probably here too. But what's really great is, look, we got some deeds, we got more of the property stuff, taxes, voting, if he had voted in any of the presidential elections or the local elections, maybe I could find that out from here, which is really nice. Now what's cool is too, to expand out, you can just go to the general, state library search, and I can just type in Edwin Bentley, and we can just see what we get, right? Nothing found. Let's just type in Bentley then. And to be quite honest, I'm not surprised because I know that he left Connecticut. He went to go to New York to get medical training. So he didn't live in Connecticut most of his life. He left in his 20s, and then of course in his 30s, the Civil War breaks out. His 30s or early 40s, so he's not really living there. So I have Bentley, right? Now this could be his siblings, it could be his cousin, it could be his nephew, I don't know. But when I do go to Connecticut, I can be like, all right, we got here the New London County courts. So this one would be better than, let's say, Connecticut versus Massachusetts, because I don't think that's the Bentley we're looking for. Here's New London County, okay? So this is gonna be somebody we're looking for. And I'll have to look more specifically on this. And of course you can click on this and see more about what is in here, okay? Now, one of my big tips is, you guys may already know this, but if you're looking through a big wall of text, you just don't really feel like reading it, edit, find again, and you can just type in Bentley. Oh, and then here we go. What's really cool is North Stonington is one of the towns the Bentleys had lived in. So he actually was born in North Stonington, and then they went Stonington, and then they had moved to New London. So Constable Henry F. Bentley. So it's very possible that this could be a cousin, an uncle, we'll have to see, but there we go. So I'll find out more about this Henry Bentley and see how he's related. If it's a brother, that's pretty cool to know. It's more about this. And it is at the time when Edwin should be living there. Now you keep trying different areas of the website. So again, I have the finding aids. I'm typing in Bentley again. And look, we got those first two, but then we got some more stuff, okay? Now, this is some guy's middle name, but I'll have to go more in depth to look through these. George Bentley could be, again, another cousin, William Bentley. Why don't we do this? Why don't we go type instead Edwin Bentley? Because there seems to be a lot of matches for, nope, no records found, which again is a little frustrating because I know this guy lived here. He's from here. He lived here right before the war broke out, but that's okay. We're moving on. So we have New London, and then we have more about the Connecticut State Archives. Just, we know that the Bentley family is well documented. There's many of them, right? Now, another part of Dr. Bentley's story is towards the end of his life, he had gone to help found the University of Arkansas's medical school in 1881. So he makes his way to Little Rock. Now, we have here the medical College of Medical Sciences has their own special like archives, right? So if you're dealing with a university system, if you go to a specific college, they'll be able to have things more pertinent to the people you're looking for who either studied there or worked there. And at one point, Dr. Bentley had been the dean of the college. So let's see here. So what I want to do is go to the getting started, because this will help me find him. Okay. We got the catalog, digital collections. Let's go to the finding aids first. And if that doesn't work, then we will go back to the catalog. But we can search for him here. Let's just type in his last name first, because sometimes first names aren't written somewhere. Maybe it's just Mr. Bentley. And I'm not seeing anything super pertinent because he was there in the 1880s and 1890s, and these are not really the time periods we're looking for. So let's go back. The catalog. Never know. You guys, we hit a jackpot. Diary of Edwin Bentley. And look, you guys, that's his birth and death date. This is my first time seeing this. I'm very excited because it's during a period before the war. And it's interesting that the college has it. It must have been with him when he died. He died at age 93 in Little Rock, and it must have been in his home when he lived there. So I'm super excited. I'm really excited about this. Now, I can't see it. I can tell 198 pages. Okay, that's pretty good. Look, notes on diseases, symptoms, case histories. This will be very helpful when I look at his, physician practice, his surgeon practice, which is really, really awesome. Now, it's not for loans. So of course, I can't remove it. I'm not intending to. When I go to Little Rock, I'm going to be there for a couple of days. So this is great. We're very happy about this. So guys, don't get deterred. If you go to like finding aids, you don't see him, keep looking in different areas. Now, I know that this one, that's his son who was born in Little Rock. His tombstone, I do know what that is because he's buried here in Virginia where I live. I have seen the picture of his house. Oh, you guys, here's another one. His papers. Okay. Now, it's when he was dean from 1904 to 1907, which checks out. Okay. This is great. Consisting of minutes of, I'm not going to pronounce this very correctly, this society he was part of. Graduates of Harvard Medical School, fascinating. Minutes and undated lecture. Wow, that's like, this is gonna be so freaking cool. I cannot wait. So we know it's a folder and it has 5 leaves in there. So I guess 5 pieces of paper. Now what's also pretty cool is you could just go ahead and click the contributor and it will find out all of this stuff. We have specimens of the Civil War period. Interesting, it's a physical object. Maybe it's a photo of one of his experiments. We have other people's papers where he's mentioned. So we're very happy with Arkansas. I'll have to go more in depth to see. I'll have to search for him in many other aspects, not just his papers, but if he's mentioned other people's papers too. And again, we have the university, but because he lived there, he lived in Arkansas for several decades, he might be in their vital records. So in a similar manner as Connecticut, we have the county, Pulaski, which is Little Rock, and then we have the state ones. So we'll start with Pulaski. This is the Historical Society, and it does not seem like there's like a archives thing, and it's very possible that all the Pulaski County archives are at the state archives. That's kind of what it's looking like. So let's just go back to the state archives. Collection and research. About collections. All right, online catalog. All right, and again, if we don't find much for him here, we'll go to the digital archives and vice versa. So there we go. Bentley. Okay, it's a lot of Bentleys. Let's go ahead and try and type Edwin, because Bentley, unfortunately, is a first name for many people. No results. Let's type in Dr. Bentley. Trying everything we can. It does not hurt. Nothing. Let's go back to Bentley for a second. Let's see. Okay, mainly first and middle names, Robert F. Okay. Let's type in his, not care. His son's name is Carl, but it's spelled like, oh no, okay. We got no Bentleys here. That's fine. It doesn't hurt to email them anyways to see hey, is there anything on this guy? It's very possible that something has been deascensioned or it's in conservation or something. Now, I have already seen Dr. Bentley's Civil War service records because I've used them not just for my book, but for my master's thesis and a lot of different articles and museum projects I have done in the past 5 years. So what I can do though is to show you guys more about how I find these things, because There are so many record groups for military stuff here at the National Archives in Washington, D.C. Most of it is not digitized. I live in the D.C. area, so I'm very fortunate to be able to go and see that, right? Okay, so if you just type in Edwin Bentley, it's gonna take a little bit. Okay, here we go. So this is stuff I have seen before, I am aware of. These are more of like here, I'll show you guys. The record group is really what you want to pay attention to, okay? Record group 94 is massive. And you can search, because as you can see, a lot of this is like letters and government documents, enlistments, and it covers over 100 years. It's pretty big. But if you just type in Edwin Bentley here, you can see all of the records within it, and that way you're not swimming in this stuff. Now, here is what I am more familiar with. The military officer's file of Edwin Bentley. This is undigitized, okay? And also, notice here we have a very large file unit from 61 to 95, okay? Personal papers of medical officers and physicians. This is a series within the medical group, so record group. So you got the record group, and then the series, and then the file, right? So now I know this is, a really great one, because this is when he entered the Civil War, and this is when he left the military. So this is all of his stuff, not just from the Civil War, but likely from when he went out to fight in the later Indian Wars, and also when he was working in California as part of the U.S. Army. So this is great. We'll keep that tabbed here. And again, Consolidated Military Officers File. You're probably thinking, this looks just like the other one, but check out the series. Letters received. These are letters, not just personal papers. So I do want to check that out. It's also post-war. Fascinating. But guys, this is just in one record group, okay? So if we go back to the same search results, we can find more things from different record groups, okay? You can also search here, part of record group, blah, 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 right? And there's a whole bunch of other ones. Some of these are going to be different Edwin Bentleys. There unfortunately are a couple of them, but you'll be able to search through there and find out more records. That way you're not just swimming through all this stuff, all right? But the last thing I want to show you guys, another great resource for your nonfiction writing, and especially when you're trying to construct a nonfiction book, newspapers. I think newspapers are what I spend the most time on. I can't stop, like I rabbit hole so much, and I keep wanting to look at the next issue, the next day's print, because you never know what's in it. But I have the Chronicling America whole interface here from the Library of Congress, and it is such a resource, guys. So essentially, here's how it works. Edwin Bentley, and I know there is a newer interface. I prefer the older one because I like being able to type. The newer one has you select the newspaper and the day, and that's just not how my brain works. Now, again, we can have it be Arkansas. We can have it be when he's in California. We can have it be when he's here in DC. We can have it be in Virginia when he's living in Alexandria and doing Civil War stuff. Connecticut, New London. So let's just do that, and then let's see what we find. Again, it goes back to 1736, you guys. There's a lot of cool stuff. I'm just going to do for when, let's see, not when he's born. Let's do when he's like 20 years old to the Civil War. And then let me put these at the beginning and the end of the year, so we have everything covered. And then I could do New London. Seem to have that. Let's do county. New London County. How about that? Okay. And then it's going to do all this stuff. Two items for us. How exciting. All right. I don't know if these will be our guys, but you can click on it. And then what's nice is they do have the names highlighted. So DN, that's not our guy. Oh, that's just Edwin. So that's not it. Let's try out of Connecticut. Let's clear it and let's start over. And instead, let's do Arkansas. And then he got there, let's just do 1880, back up a year or something. We'll have it be January, beginning of the year. And then we'll do till his death in 1917. And then the end of the year. I'm gonna see what happens. Aha! Mr. and Mrs. Dr. and Mrs. Edwin Bentley, Edwin Bentley, Edwin Bentley. Look at this, you guys. All this great stuff. Cool. We also have like addresses, so maybe that's where he lived, like the residence of Dr. Edwin Bentley. So maybe we'll get some more about if he lived in multiple places. This is great stuff. So I hope this helped you guys think of ways to look at your nonfiction, primary sources more helpfully. You can use this for short form articles, other research you're doing, but because I'm doing a biography, a lot of what I had to do was genealogical in nature. If you're looking at an event, think about it chronologically, right? So if you go on that newspaper website, right, you're looking at newspapers, don't just do the whole span of the war, or the whole span of like the invention, or the whole span of someone's life. That's just a lot. Just focus on little bits at a time, because then you're going to have thousands of newspapers or thousands of documents to look through. But I hope this helped you with also troubleshooting, because you saw I had some difficulty, and that's okay. Email people, be tenacious. They're there to help you. People in libraries and archives want to help you find stuff, right? They didn't organize all those documents for no one to view them. And because I am going to Connecticut and Arkansas, I do need to make sure these documents are also available to view when I get there. So part of the emailing process for me is making sure I'm not flying all the way down there or driving all the way up to Connecticut for stuff to not be able to be viewed. Maybe it's in conservation or it's out of circulation or whatnot. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please comment below. Check out my links to social media and my website, and talk to you later. Bye.